Angel Reese just played the most controversial game of her WNBA career, and it wasn't even close. Not because she missed shots, not because of some viral moment, but because her own teammates looked like they wanted nothing to do with her. At one point, they'd rather take a shot clock violation than pass her the ball. Think about that. A star player, completely frozen out. This wasn't just an embarrassing loss. It was a flashing red light, warning everyone that something is very, very wrong in Chicago. Sure, the scoreboard showed a blowout, but the real damage? It was in the body language, the chemistry, the complete lack of trust. And while Rhyne Howard torched them with a historic night, the Chicago Sky were busy falling apart from the inside out. From questionable coaching decisions to front office pressure and fan frustration, this game didn't just expose Angel Reese's struggles, it might have exposed a franchise on the edge of collapse. And if you think that sounds dramatic, just wait until you see what happened next. The Chicago Sky didn't just lose, they got humiliated. The Atlanta Dream walked into that arena and tore the Sky apart, piece by piece. And leading the charge was Rhyne Howard, who delivered one of the greatest shooting performances in WNBA history. 36 points, 9 three-pointers. That tied the all-time WNBA record. From the moment she got hot, Chicago had no answers. No defensive scheme, no rotation, no one who could slow her down. It wasn't just dominance, it was surgical destruction. And if the stat line wasn't brutal enough, the visuals were worse. Every time the Sky tried to adjust, Howard responded with something even more devastating. Back-to-back threes in the second quarter completely shattered Chicago's momentum. Even when everyone knew she was getting the ball, they still couldn't stop her. It was as if the Sky forgot the basics of defense. Closeouts were lazy, rotations were slow, and help defense looked like it was stuck in quicksand. But Rhyne Howard didn't do this alone. Her team moved with purpose, energy, and trust, something the Sky couldn't replicate for even one quarter. The Dream looked like a well-oiled machine. The Sky? They looked like strangers. And that's when the story started shifting from what Rhyne Howard was doing to what Angel Reese wasn't doing. While Rhyne Howard was lighting up the scoreboard, Angel Reese was being completely iced out by her own teammates. This wasn't just a game where the shots weren't falling. It was a game where the team actively avoided involving her. Over and over again, Reese found herself in position, open in the post, calling for the ball, and nothing. Possession after possession, her teammates looked elsewhere. And then came the moment that said it all. With plenty of time left on the shot clock, Reese had perfect positioning near the rim. But instead of feeding her the ball, the Sky launched a rushed, low-percentage three that didn't even come close. The shot clock expired, the crowd groaned, and Reese stood there, hands up, watching it unfold like everyone else. It was hard not to see what that really was. Not just a broken play, but a breakdown in trust. That kind of thing doesn't happen by accident. In the WNBA, where every possession matters, a team doesn't just forget about its star player. The message was clear. Something is off. Whether it's frustration with her effort, lack of production, or behind-the-scenes tension, the Sky seemed to be making a statement, loud and clear. And it wasn't just on offense. On defense, the disconnect was just as obvious. Rotations were sloppy, communication was non-existent, and no one seemed on the same page. A team in sync doesn't behave like that. A team falling apart does. And the way Reese was left on an island all night long, that tells you everything you need to know. Angel Reese's numbers from this game don't just look bad. They're baffling. 4 for 10 shooting, just 12 points. For someone whose game is built around dominating in the paint, those stats aren't just disappointing, they're alarming. But it gets worse. Reese is shooting just 36% on shots within 5 feet of the basket. That's not just low. That's the worst percentage in the league for a player at her position. And we're not talking about heavily contested jumpers or deep fadeaways. These are layups, point-blank looks, the kinds of shots you expect a rookie in high school to hit. Instead, Reese has been bricking them in ways that have left even her own fans speechless. One attempt in particular was so awkward, so off-target that people joked it belonged in a science lab for further study. If they ever need film on how not to finish a layup, this game delivered plenty of footage. It's not just embarrassing, it's demoralizing. Every missed layup is a wasted possession. Every wasted possession is momentum lost. And when it's your supposed franchise player missing them, it hits even harder. Because when a team watches its leader crumble at the rim over and over again, that energy drains fast, not just from the scoreboard, but from the bench, the crowd, and the locker room. These aren't just stats on a sheet. They're warning signs. And the Chicago Sky just got a giant one. It's one thing to struggle on the court. It's another to be the center of attention while struggling. And that's where Angel Reese's situation becomes even more complicated. She's not just any player. She came into the WNBA as one of the most hyped athletes in the league, with endorsement deals, national interviews, and a massive social media following. But when the spotlight stays hot and the production stays cold, it creates a recipe for resentment. While Reese is the face of the franchise, her teammates are putting in the work behind the scenes, without the same recognition, without the headlines, and without the excuses. And when they see the ball not going to the hot hand, when they watch missed layup after missed layup, when they get left hanging on defense because someone's not rotating, frustration builds. Quietly at first, but it builds. You can see it in the body language. Players jogging back on defense after a failed possession. Heads shaking after another missed opportunity under the rim. Teammates bypassing Reese even when she's open. That's not just strategy. That's trust being eroded in real time. And here's the truth that no one on the team will say out loud, but everyone is probably thinking. If Angel Reese is going to get the star treatment, she needs to produce like a star. Right now, she's not. And when the attention doesn't match the impact, the locker room doesn't stay quiet forever. So while fans might see this as just one bad game, those inside the building are feeling something much deeper. Something that no stat sheet can show: division. When a team starts to unravel, the front office usually stays silent, at least in public, but not this time. After this brutal loss, Chicago Sky general manager Jeff Pagliuca didn't sugarcoat it. He said point blank, "We need more production out of Angel Reese, and that's yet to come together." That's not a casual critique. That's a warning shot. And when the GM starts saying things like that publicly, it usually means the private conversations have already gotten heated. Behind the scenes, you can bet this organization is starting to ask tough questions. Is this the player we build around? Is she helping the team win? Or is she becoming a distraction? Head coach Tyler Marsh tried to soften the blow. He told the media that they need to do a better job creating looks for her. But here's the thing. Why should the whole offense have to be redesigned for someone who can't finish layups or draw defensive attention? Reese isn't a rookie learning the ropes. She's the self-proclaimed face of the team. And if she's going to own that role, she should be the one creating looks for others, not the other way around. In the WNBA, star players are expected to carry, not be carried. Yet right now, Chicago seems to be bending over backward to protect a player who just hasn't delivered. And that puts everyone, from the coaching staff to the bench players, in an impossible position. Because if the system is broken and the centerpiece isn't producing, what exactly are they building around? That's the question Chicago's front office seems to be asking. And the longer the answers stay unclear, the louder those trade whispers are going to get. This isn't just about one player having a rough game. What's happening in Chicago goes much deeper, and it starts with the atmosphere, or rather, the complete lack of it. The Sky play their home games at Wintrust Arena, a venue that holds around 10,000 fans. But lately, you'd be lucky to find half that. Empty seats outnumber paying fans, and the energy inside feels more like a practice scrimmage than a professional game. And it's not just a Chicago problem. The Atlanta Dream, yes, the same team that embarrassed the Sky, play their home games in a high school gym. Literally, the Gateway Center Arena only fits about 3,500 people. Yet somehow, Angel Reese, one of the league's most marketed stars, couldn't even help sell that out. The consequences of poor attendance are brutal. Less ticket revenue means less money for player development, marketing, and team facilities. And when a franchise feels like it's stuck in a loop of losing and low energy, it bleeds into every corner of the organization. From player morale to public perception, the vibe is off, and it's costing them. Ironically, for Angel Reese, the empty seats might have been a blessing. With the way she played that night, the fewer eyes watching, the better. Because this wasn't just a bad night. It was a performance that confirmed all the worst fears fans and executives had about her transition to the pros, and it came at the worst possible time. When her team needed leadership, effort, and confidence, she gave them none of it. But here's the kicker. Reese's bad game might be the headline, but it's only scratching the surface of the Sky's real problems. When Angel Reese entered the WNBA, the league leaned hard into the rivalry narrative. Reese versus Caitlin Clark was supposed to be the spark that reignited women's basketball. Headlines, promos, social media campaigns, it was everywhere. And make no mistake, that spotlight was meant to elevate both players. But here's the issue. Only one of them showed up ready to handle it. While Caitlin Clark continues to rack up highlight reels, clutch performances, and even praise from NBA legends, Reese has stumbled repeatedly. And instead of fueling the league, The rivalry is now starting to drain the Chicago Sky, because when one player becomes the center of attention and then fails to deliver, it sucks the air out of the rest of the locker room. This obsession with building the brand around Reese has buried other talented players on the roster. Take Camila Cardoso, for example. Quietly efficient, consistently solid. 15 points, 9 rebounds on 58% shooting in the same game. Reese struggled. But does she get the interviews, the national media attention, the headlines? Number. Because all the noise is about a rivalry that's become one-sided. And what does that do to a team trying to build chemistry? It creates tension. It makes every game feel like a referendum on one player instead of a team effort. When the spotlight burns too bright for someone not ready to carry it, everyone around them gets scorched too. This was supposed to be the rise of a franchise. Instead, it's becoming a case study in what happens when the marketing hype doesn't match the on-court results. And the longer this continues, the harder it'll be for the Sky to find their identity, with or without Angel Reese at the center of it. Let's be honest, when a general manager publicly questions a player's production and the coach scrambles to shift blame away from her, it's rarely a good sign. Angel Reese came into the league with fanfare, fame, and the promise of being the next big thing. But now, just a few months into her rookie season, she's not being treated like the face of a franchise. She's being treated like a liability. And here's where it gets dangerous, for her and for the team. Because when your star player becomes the focal point of locker room frustration, front office pressure, and national criticism, the fuse starts burning. The GM's comments weren't just frustration, they were a signal. If things don't turn around fast, Angel Reese could very well become the centerpiece of trade talks, not highlight reels. It's rare to see a rookie's situation deteriorate this quickly, especially one with her platform and reach. But this is the price of being in the spotlight before you're ready. The Chicago Sky needed leadership, efficiency, and impact. Instead, they've been left with missed layups, broken chemistry, and an identity crisis. And make no mistake, this franchise is at a crossroads. Do they stick with the media star and hope she figures it out? Or do they make the painful decision to move on and rebuild around players who've quietly proven they deserve the shot? Either way, something has to give. Because if Angel Reese keeps playing like this, her WNBA story might be heading for a rewrite, one that doesn't include Chicago at all. Comment below, do you think Angel Reese is the problem? Or is the Sky just a broken team?